So, for what reason is the Pentagon stunned? Stunned to discover that in August, China tried 2 atomic-skilled hypersonic missiles. Let's discuss about the FT reports which says China surprises the US with hypersonic missile test. So please like and subscribe to our channel before watching the video. What missions will hypersonic weapons be used for? Are hypersonic weapons the most cost-effective means of executing these potential missions? How will they be incorporated into joint operational doctrine and concepts? Let's answer them one by one. So first of all, what is a hypersonic missile? Hypersonic flight is a trip through the air beneath around 90 kilometers at speeds running between Mach 5 to 10, a speed where separation of air starts to become huge and high hotness loads exist. Hypersonic missiles travel at least 5 times the speed of sound, ultra-fast hypersonic missiles that can change targets anywhere on Earth within an hour. The next question arises here is, how does it work? They combine the speed of the ballistic missile. These missiles can also be used for delivering nuclear weapons. Hypersonic rockets travel at least 5 times the speed of sound, and they can fly much lower to the ground than conventional ballistic missiles. That makes them much harder to trace, and thus much harder to stop. Australia had set aside up to 9.3 billion Australian dollars, which are 6.8 billion US dollars, this year for high-speed, long-range missile defense systems. Including hypersonic research, Russia deployed its first hypersonic nuclear-capable missiles last year, while the Pentagon, which tested a similar hypersonic missile in 2017, has a goal of fielding hypersonic warfighting capabilities in the early to mid-2020s. The Sydney Morning Herald newspaper said on Tuesday that Australia hopes to begin testing prototypes of the air-launched long-range missiles within 2 months. Let's think about who has the hypersonic missiles. China, the US, and Russia have the most developed capacities. And a few different nations are researching the innovation, including India, Japan, Australia, France, Germany, and North Korea, which professes to have tried hypersonic missiles. The United States and Russia are additionally creating hypersonic missiles, and recently North Korea said it has test-terminated a recently created hypersonic missile. After a long hiatus, hypersonic missile research and development is back in full swing. Major powers such as Russia, China, and the US have been racing to develop hypersonic missile, a missile system so fast that it cannot be intercepted by any current missile defense system. Hypersonic missiles will play a huge role in foreign policy in the years to come, as core pillars of geopolitics such as geography and technological power can be undermined by hypersonic missiles. And given a recent uptick in successful tests from the likes of China and Russia, hypersonic missiles are much closer than we think, forcing a global reassessment of traditional notions of deterrence. What is a hypersonic cruise missile? This type of missile reaches its target with the help of a high-speed jet engine that allows it to travel at extreme speeds, in excess of Mach 5. It is non-ballistic, the opposite of traditional intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBM, which utilizes gravitational forces to reach its target. What is a hypersonic glide vehicle? This type of hypersonic missile utilizes re-entry vehicles. Initially, the missile is launched into space on an arching trajectory, where the warheads are released and fall towards the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. The Great Loyal China with the hypersonic technology. Beijing. China tested a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in August, showing a capacity that got US knowledge unsuspecting, Financial Times revealed, referring to 5 anonymous sources. The Chinese military dispatched a missile conveying a hypersonic glide vehicle that flew through low-orbit space, orbiting the globe prior to cruising towards its objective, which it missed by around 24 miles. At a 2019 function, China displayed propelling weaponry including its hypersonic missile, known as the DF-17. Long-range missiles fly into space prior to returning in steep directions at higher velocities. Hypersonic weapons are hard to safeguard against on the grounds that they fly towards focuses at lower elevations, yet can accomplish in excess of multiple times the speed of sound, or around 6,200 kilometers each hour. The Jingkong 2 or Starry Sky 2 was launched in a target range located in northwest China. According to Chinese media reports, the flight test lasted 10 minutes. During the flight test, the hypersonic vehicle was disengaged from the launch vehicle and several maneuvers were completed. The flight vehicle reached 30 kilometers in altitude at Mach 5.5 to 6, the Academy said. China versus US in hypersonic missiles. The threats are increasing from China. US military officials in recent months have warned about China's growing nuclear capabilities, particularly after the release of satellite imagery that showed it was building more than 200 intercontinental missile silos. China is not bound by any arms control deals and has been unwilling to engage the US in talks about its nuclear arsenal and policy. The last time the world saw China's arsenal of hypersonic missiles was in 2019, as the Communist Party put its latest technology on display in a huge military parade through central Beijing's Tiananmen Square. The country already boasts the world's largest standing military force, and it hasn't been shy about throwing that weight around. The record of 149 military flight incursions into Taiwan's air defense zone this month being the most recent example. During the 1960s, the United States and the Soviet Union both explored different avenues regarding innovation of these missiles. Lately, Russia and China have multiplied down on it. And they haven't been staying silent with regards to it by the same token. Russian President Vladimir Putin gave a description in 2018 that was joined by an enlivened impression of how a hypersonic rocket would look like en route to North America. The Chinese have pushed the innovation comparably hard and with undeniably really subsidizing. China has a robust research and development infrastructure devoted to hypersonic weapons. China has conducted 20 times as many hypersonic tests as the United States. China tested 3 hypersonic vehicle models, D-18-1S, D-18-2S, and D-18-3S, each with different aerodynamic properties, in September 2018. Analysts believe that these tests could be designed to help China develop weapons that fly at variable speeds, including hypersonic speeds. Similarly, China has used the Lingyun Mach 6 Plus high-speed engine, or scramjet, testbed to research thermal-resistant components and hypersonic cruise missile technologies. Can we defend hypersonic missiles? Currently, there is no operational defense system that can deny the use of these strategic weapons. As a result, many world powers including the US, Russia, India, and China are working on hypersonic missiles. They are so fast, their speed can change the surrounding air molecules. They can carry a nuclear warhead, fly low, and be hard to detect. Hypersonic weapons are at the center of escalating competition between the US and China. Also, what are the different kinds of hypersonic weapons? There are 2 main types, glide vehicles and cruise missiles. Most of the attention is focused on the former, which are launched from a rocket before gliding to their target. Because of the challenges of achieving hypersonic propulsions of missiles, the missiles have engines called scramjets that use the air's oxygen and produce thrust during their flight, allowing them to cruise at a steady speed and altitude. We provide you the knowledge about China's roads, railways, currencies, rankings, technologies, researches, and hospitals. All our data is reviewed again and again to make sure it is 100% correct. So before ending this video, please tell us about your suggestions in the comments below. Also, guide us about new topics which you want to hear from us. Hitting the like and subscribe button would be a great favor for us. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.